We're entering an era in which our enemies can make it look like anyone is saying anything at
What's
any
known as
point.
deepfake technology.
To spread disinformation, leave the government, the media, and the public struggling to discern what is real and what is
Now
fake.
it's going to be even harder to trust the news
It's a
or
time when we
anything.
need to rely on trusted news sources.
What if someone deepfakes a photo of you naked committing a crime? How do you prove that the photo is fake? Well, the short answer is we actually can't. Let that sink in. We are at a point right now where anyone can generate any image of you doing anything that they want, and we have literally no ability to defend ourselves. This is our current reality. AI technology has made it impossible to tell if something is real or fake on the internet. We are already seeing advanced AI create fake content and spreading misinformation online with Twitter bots, which causes everyone to lose trust in the system. To fight AI Twitter bots, Elon has actually introduced a new verification system to prove that the person that's actually behind the account is who they claim to be on Twitter. Instead of manual checks for notable figures, which was abused by opportunistic employees, they introduced a paid verification system. They then link the name on your credit card to the name of your account to make sure that you are who you claim to be. Once complete, you get a blue check mark next to your name that verifies that you are indeed that person. Or in other words, proof of person. If your social media account is actually verified as a real human, then you will think twice about posting deepfakes because 1, you can get banned from the platform, 2, you could face legal troubles, and 3, your reputation will get ruined. Anything coming from non-verified accounts will no longer be trusted. And this solution works pretty well, but there's still one big problem. This only works on Twitter. Are we supposed to pay for every website that we visit just to prove that we're real? No. So this is only a short-term fix for this individual problem. We need to prove humanness everywhere on the internet, or else we won't be able to trust anything online ever again. And to do this, we must enter a new chapter of human history. Let me explain. Right now, when we're on the internet, we create separate accounts for each platform that we are on. Now, what if instead of separate accounts, we just created one master account and then use that single master account to log in on every platform? That way, we can prove we are human on the master account, and then we can prove humanness on every website that we visit. This master account is essentially a digital ID, which makes you think, why don't we just have digital IDs? I mean, if we did, not only can we verify that our content comes from humans, but we could also eliminate all spam, eliminate voter fraud, and even guarantee fair distribution of government welfare or even a universal basic income. And on top of all this, digital IDs could be global, not specific to each country, which would make traveling internationally much more efficient. Global digital IDs just seem like a no-brainer, but how would we do it? In the 1800s, the most common way to identify yourself was just your signature. And in 1926, we introduced photo passports, and in 1985, passports became machine readable. So we're due for an upgrade. Believe it or not, in 2019, Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI and ChatGPT, actually created this exact solution with a blockchain company he helped start called World ID. So here's the idea. To get your digital ID, you would go to a local location and register your eyeball with a quick scan. This would then put your eyeball scan in the system, and you would get your digital ID in the form of something called a soul-bound NFT. This new digital ID would then be held in your master account like we talked about earlier. But these master accounts are actually called digital wallets. So just like you hold your physical ID in your physical wallet, you will now have a digital ID in your digital wallet, aka your master account. You then connect your digital wallet to every website that you visit on the internet to prove that you are in fact a living, breathing human. But there's one terrifying problem. Whoever makes them controls them. And since they're digital, that creates a lot of problems. Whoever comes up with this is gonna have to set a lot of new rules. They would have to set new rules on international travel. They would have the information of every person on the planet. They would know where you are at all times and everything you've ever done on the internet. But as you can tell, this is an absurd amount of power, which means whoever makes this will essentially have control over the entire world's population, which is a scary thought. But governments actually think digital IDs are great. I mean, they're in the power business after all, and our government government actually submitted a bill called the Improve Digital Identities Act in 2021. So they're on it as we speak, but they don't think we should just stop at digital IDs. Governments are actually proposing that we change the money system to a digital system as well while we're at it. After all, the cash system was invented hundreds of years ago. Cash gets lost, it's hard to move in large quantities, and it's impossible to track how much actually exists. And on top of this, digital money would help us fight inflation, which is a huge problem right now. I mean, did you know that 50% of all US dollars that exist right now were printed in the last 3 years alone? Think about that for a second. And just to clarify, printing more money does not create more money. It simply lowers the value of all existing money. And once that money is physically printed, it can't be unprinted. So there are serious limitations to physical money, and to circumvent those limitations, we've kind of created this complicated digital system, which are basically glorified IOUs. I mean, right now, 95% of all cash transactions are actually done digitally through this IOU system, which is why bank wires take several days to process and can only be done during business hours 5 days a week. So if we want 24/7 instant cash payments, a transition does make sense. And that's what we're seeing live right before our eyes right now. A complete reinvention of the global monetary system, which has massive implication on how the world will work moving forward. The Federal Reserve is looking to create a new digital dollar to help us, but how it helps us is exactly why it's so scary. So if money is digital, that means that it can be programmed, or in other words, controlled. So if our money is digital and these people decide there's too much money out there, aka there's too much inflation, they could potentially say that you have to spend $500 in the next week or the money will be taken out of your account and be considered expired. And this isn't some conspiracy. Here's a clip of the head of the European Central Bank talking about the new euro and how it can be controlled, but only minorly.
Digital euro is going to have a limited amount of control. There will be control, you're right. You're completely right. We are considering whether for very small amounts, anything that is around 300, 400 euros, we could have a mechanism where there is zero control. But that could be dangerous. The terrorist attacks on France.
So remember at the beginning of the video where we talked about who the content comes from is more important than the content itself, which is why we need a digital ID system in the first place? Well, the same applies to digital money. You see, it's not a matter of how the money actually works, it's about who controls it. So China has already rolled out the digital yuan, and you guessed it, their money literally has expiration dates and even a social credit system. And well over 114 countries are actively pursuing creating their own digital money, aka central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs for short. And remember how I said that digital IDs could be global? In theory, the same now applies to digital money, which means the fight to become the new single digital currency of the world has begun. So obviously, we probably don't want China to control our money, but the real question is, do we even want one specific country to control our money? In 2023, a recent poll shows that only 20% of people even trust their governments. So should they have complete control? Though digital currencies would help us fight inflation, speed up transactions, and even lower the cost of international wires, these benefits come at a cost. It comes at the cost of complete control by a very small group of only 150 people.
There's about 150 people that run the world. Anybody who wants to go into politics, they're all f***ing puppets. There are 150, and they're all men, that run the world. Period, full stop. They control most of the important assets. They control the money flows.
These 150 people would essentially be a new government, but instead of one country, it would be the entire world. If this happens, these people would have the ability to blacklist IDs, which would remove your access to the internet and travel. Also, your money, which they can track every single transaction, remove money from your account if you break a rule, and even make money expire, which means no more saving. And all of this power will be justified by the fact that it will reduce crime. But that is a slippery slope. So to combat these people from having too much control over our digital money, a new technology would need to be developed. We would want to make sure that this new technology would make it so digital money could not be controlled by one centralized group of people. No one but you can move money in and out of your accounts, and no one can make your money expire. Also, we kind of want to make sure we set just a certain amount so inflation couldn't happen. Well, the good news is this technology actually already exists, and this technology is called blockchain technology. And if that word just triggered you, think about this. It is not possible to hate and understand something at the same time. You see, this is exactly what Bitcoin was created for. So instead of one group of 150 people having full control of all of our digital money, each individual person would be in complete control of their money. Bitcoin solves the problem by decentralizing power away from one government. This is a really big deal. Why is no one talking about this? Well, that's because this directly threatens the most powerful people in the world. These people have spent the last 50 years of their life to get in the position that they are. If decentralized money and IDs become the norm, they will essentially lose everything that they have. So they are fighting hard to make sure that they stay in power. They do this by controlling the narrative on TV and social media because they literally own the companies and have very big budgets. They are spending billions of dollars to make sure that they are the ones in control of the money, not you. So next time you see a government official or politician say that crypto is bad, I want you to ask yourself, is it really bad for me? Or is it just bad for them because they might lose their power? Now, most people have no idea that this is happening right now and will just sit idly by and watch. But smart people know that the greatest opportunities come in times of change. Those of us that pay attention will capitalize on the inevitable opportunities that come from this and accrue life-changing wealth. This truly is our generation's internet opportunity, and that's what this channel is all about. I talk about these ideas and opportunities every week in my free newsletter, so click the link in the bio if you want to learn how to capitalize on technologies of the future. But other than that, I hope you have a wonderful day, and remember, we're gonna make it.